various locations via the miracle of Skype, it's the 40th anniversary season of the LTN Hour. Let's talk NASCAR with your host, Todd Bailing, co-hosts Brian Schmidt, PJ Noodleman, and producer Dangerous Dan Margetta. Call the show anytime at 414-421-7901. And now, the creator and host of the fastest hour in radio, Todd Bailing.
Hey, nice to have you. The great off season has begun after Joey Logano wins the race and the championship last week at Phoenix. Hello there, everybody. Todd Bailing in the aforementioned Phoenix, Arizona, joined by my, count 'em, 4 partners today. Yes, it's like sitting in a doctor's office and all these people are sitting around talking. Todd Bailing in Phoenix, and let's jump to Oostburg, Wisconsin, and Brian Schmidt. Hi, Brian.
Hi. Yep. Back from our trip to Arizona last week. Made it back without any problems last Monday, and here we sit in the off season.
Yeah, it's only going to get worse weather-wise. The pair from Trempealeau, Wisconsin. We not only have one Noodleman, PJ, but she's brought along her esteemed husband Toby today to sit in with us.
Oh God, you build him up so much, he's going to be incorrigible the rest of the day around here.
Okay, it's all right.
But yes,
hello,
Toby's here.
It's nice to have you, Toby. Are you awake?
I'm here.
She tells us you were working in the shop last night pretty late.
Yeah, it was a longer night.
All right. And, of course, Dan Margetta, our producer-director over in St. Francis, Wisconsin. Hi.
Hey, it was great hanging out with all you guys last week, and it was pretty fun.
It was. We actually all got together in one place at one time. It was a lot of fun. As we mentioned, Joey Logano wins the race. Oh, my God. There's been so much. I think it's mostly because they hate Logano, maybe. I don't know. And I don't know why they do. He certainly has proven he's one of the all-time great NASCAR drivers. Listen to me. Of all the Joey Logano fans out there, you win 3 championships. My God, that's rarefied air. What did they say? There's like 10 people in the history of NASCAR that have actually won 3 championships, and Logano is the latest. Brian, it's not that he won the championship. Apparently, the crying this week was all centered around the fact that the point system allowed a guy who finished 17th for an average all year long actually won a championship.
Correct. Yeah, and I mean, it all started with Jeff Gluck's podcast, which is called The Teardown. I'm not sure if that happens on Sunday night right after the race or they do it Monday morning. I listen to it on Monday evening. And he went into this long rant about how a 17th place average finisher, shouldn't win a championship. I mean, let's go back and figure, Joey Logano did win 4 races, plus the All-Star race. So that's 5. It wasn't a points race, but he still won the race. So, I mean, to say he was such an illegitimate champion, I don't know if I'd put any weight in that comment. They're a product of the system. They're a team that they know at the beginning of the year what the task at hand is and how to get that task achieved. And running in the top 5 every single week is not required to do that. And that's simply how it works. I mean, if you want to compare it to stick and ball sports, it's like the wild card team getting in. Is it tougher? Oh yeah, it's tougher. I mean, think about it. He probably shouldn't even. If the 48 car is legal, he's not in that position, and he's not our champion this year. Yeah, no, so he kind of had, got in a little bit by happenstance, but he still got in because another team did something wrong, and then they took advantage of that. So I guess, I like the system. I mean, I don't think Sunday's race would have been all. I mean, Phoenix has a hard time producing a great race anyway, but if you wouldn't have that possibility of Blaney and Logano racing for the championship, and the point leader had a 25-point lead and he needed to be, finish in the top 20, you wouldn't have had that excitement. Is that what they want? I don't think so. So for those to say that this system is broken, I don't agree with that. If you're looking for pure entertainment, which is what we're in, the entertainment business.
Yeah, NASCAR got exactly what they wanted when they designed it in the first place, the point system, and you got to hand it. If it came from Brian France, well, then, yeah, which is I hate to say it, but this is his creation. At least he's getting credit for it. Is it really that unusual? They've got what they wanted, and that is for a chance for a guy to win the race at the end of a race when they have late race cautions, and they want a chance for a guy to come out of nowhere to win a championship. And it's worked pretty good for them so far. I would say, they knew they had a problem when Jimmy Johnson just kept taking advantage of the fact that all his best tracks showed up during the playoffs, and he just kicked everybody's ass every week, every year. It got old, so they had to retweak it again. Is that what we're retweaking? I don't think so. Logano was a surprise winner as far as I'm concerned. We shouldn't be surprised that it's a Penske car. It's a driver with immense talent who just didn't have the greatest statistical season. But really, I'm also the kind of guy that doesn't think statistics are always the be-all, end-all. It's sorry.
Hey, look no further than since Saturday night. Saturday night is an example of what you're looking for with this type of system. You had all four of those guys in the mix, and you had guys with problems, and he had to race his way back up there, Allgaier, to get himself in position to do that again. I mean, you don't have that if you have just a regular point system. You don't get into that drama. It's just another race. And I know that's what a lot of the purists want and think you should have, but I mean, the World of Outlaws this year, the Sprint Car Championship title was decided before the last night. It was over. And for all the people that say the old Cup Series standings that showed Christopher Bell winning by 5 points, but that's in this system. Guys race differently when you have a different system. You can't say that if you'd have put that right over top of this year's system, that's what you would have had, because it's not.
And you think it was Jimmy Johnson 5 in a row. I was at all those. And yeah, every year you go down there, Jimmy Johnson wins again, and you're kind of disappointed every year when it happened. But and the last year, I actually spent a lot of time hanging around that team because we actually had some people we knew that were friends that were part of it, and I just saw how good they were. And now looking back, I'm glad I saw those 5 championships, and it was quite an accomplishment. I'm pretty proud I got to see that. So I wonder now in the future if people would look back at Joey Logano and say, he did it. You got to give him credit for that.
Absolutely. And no denying the talent of that guy. It's just that sometimes it's a nice way to put it. I'm thinking back to the Ken Seth days, his aggressiveness and his lack of apology and cockiness. It burned.
They're like elephants. They don't forget anything. And everybody up here is never going to forget the fact that Joey Logano wrecked Matt Kenseth at Kansas.
You need to have villains and good guys and everything to create the drama. So Joey serves a purpose one way or the other.
Isn't that a fact? Say, while we have your husband here, first of all, from all of us, we don't need to congratulate you because you didn't win a Truck Series championship, but your driver did, and that was pretty awesome there, Toby. It was fun being able to see you to celebrate with him a little bit there last week, and it had to be a pretty great day for Toby Noodleman too.
Yeah, it was a great day, and a great day for our whole team, all the people involved with our, the late model team that, it's been a long time coming.
The talent that kid has is just amazing. I can't call him a kid anymore, I guess, but just watch him have developed from a teenager into a superstar under your tutelage. Let me throw in quickly. It's been amazing to see, and my fear is that we may have seen is the top of the heap. I think he should be able to keep going. What we got to do is find him an old rich grandpa that he didn't know he had and go buy a ride somewhere, which is what it takes nowadays, doesn't it, Tobe?
Well, yeah. I mean, money would definitely help, but I mean, you can't argue with results either. If he keeps doing what he's doing, I think that stuff, they could get sick of having all these young rich kids, and put somebody in there that's, not that some of them don't have a lot of talent, but Ty, I feel he's one of a kind,
No kidding.
When it comes to talent.
Yep. And it can't be any smarter either. Talk about have you heard this before? A kid goes and gets his engineering degree from the University of Wisconsin system and goes on to be a champion in NASCAR? Yeah, that's right. All right. Well, we've got Toby with us today. We'll take calls if you want a little later on, and anybody else who wants to weigh in on anything we talk about, 414-421-7901. We'll be right back.
As a growing manufacturing company, we needed security solutions. We chose Bonafide because of the services they offer, pricing, and trusted reputation. But it's their outstanding service and support that convinced us we made the right choice with Bonafide.
When businesses need security, they contact Bonafide Security Solutions. From locks and alarms to safes and surveillance, we do it all. We are Bonafide. We protect what you value. For your free security survey, call us today or visit bonafidesafe.com.
The checkered flag is waved over the racing season at the Fair Park in Plymouth. Congratulations to the champions, Brad Miller, Will Source, Travis Schmidt, and Ben Schmidt. Plymouth Dirt Track Racing thanks all the drivers and pit crews for their ongoing dedication. The loyal, dedicated track workers are the best at what they do every week. A big thank you also to the many businesses for their sponsorships, and of course the fans who make it all possible. The green flag will wave for another season next spring. We'll see you there.
Fall has arrived, but there's still time to get your landscaping complete before the snow flies. And PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend has everything you need with fresh mulch arriving daily. From premium hardwood mulch to hemlock and pine bark to EnviroMulch in red, gold, chocolate brown, and black colors. PMF also has a large variety of decorative stone and granite, as well as field stone, topsoil, and compost. For all your landscaping needs, visit PMF Landscape Supply, 5470 River Road in West Bend. Call 262-338-8800 or visit pmflandscape.com. Friends of racing for many years. PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend.
Ryan Radke here from Sunday Night Football on Westwood One. It's an AFC battle from Los Angeles this week when Justin Herbert and the 6-3 Chargers host Joe Burrow and the Bengals. Cincinnati comes in 4-6, but 5 of their losses have come by 1 score. Can they get over the hump against the Chargers team that's won 3 straight? Join Mike Golick and me to find out. Bengals and the Chargers on Sunday Night Football.
Coverage starts at 6:30 on Milwaukee's home for the NFL. 97.3 The Game.
And welcome back to the Big 920. Don't forget the LTN podcast is available on iHeart, iTunes, and all major platforms. We'd love to have you download it. Also, if you haven't heard the absolutely outstanding podcast that PJ does every week at Racing Nuggets. PJ, tell them where they can find Racing Nuggets.
You can find it anywhere you get your podcasts, including on YouTube.
And this week, is Charlie Menard still on there?
It is. I've been in a bit of a tussle trying to get my life organized again with everything.
And coming out to Phoenix doesn't help, does it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand. Dan, we went to court again this week, and we've kind of deemed you our legal reporter because you probably understand it one little tiny bit more than any of us. NASCAR apparently is now going to allow the teams that are suing it to operate under open charters, which wasn't going to happen at first. So this is just a show of good faith, apparently, on NASCAR's part?
Oh, I don't know. And there really wasn't an agreement to come on. What they did is they removed the clause from the open agreement that says you can't sue us. And before it said you can sign this charter agreement, but you can't sue us. You want to be an open car, sign this, and you still can't sue us. Well, now they took that clause out. So the cars can run as open cars, 2311 and front row. And it sounds like they are going to do that come Daytona as being an open car. Basically, I guess that does make them look like a monopoly when you say, sign this agreement, you can't sue us. Don't sign this agreement, you still can't sue us. I mean, so now there's kind of an opportunity there for them to take some kind of relief, which is they're trying to get in court. They're not really at an agreement yet. I don't think it still looks as good for 2311 in front row. They have to somehow prove that not having that charter really does hurt them. Obviously, it's going to hurt them on prize money. If they can somehow prove their sponsors are going to go away, though, that kind of thing, or their drivers, that's the big thing. If they have all these drivers and there's a clause or something that says, hey, if we don't have a charter, we can go somewhere else, that could show some harm there. So we'll see how it goes. Some people reported it as an agreement originally. Danny Hamlin kind of came on X and said, no, there's no agreement. They just took that clause out so we can go race Daytona as open cars if we want. It looks like that's what they're going to do.
But the problem is that they're not going to get paid, right?
Well, there's nowhere near the money you get a non-chartered car makes hardly anything compared to chartered cars. Basically, what that charter agreement did in the beginning was it eliminated all the start and park cars. I mean, there are a lot of cars that would just start and race, run a few laps, park it, and collect a paycheck. Well, if you're not a chartered car right now, you don't get anything. You have to finish like the top 5 to even break even, and then we'll see.
It's such a strange. The whole thing is almost surreal because it's you're going into someone else's private sandbox, which is NASCAR, and telling them how they should operate because you have too much invested in it. From the beginning, I couldn't see how this was going to beat somehow and change NASCAR's ways. Yes, it's a monopoly. If you don't want to be here, you don't have to.
If they could get the judge or the court somehow to open up books, that seems to be what NASCAR seems the most afraid of. Every time the lawsuit they've had where it came down to, okay, let's look at your books, and they're like, okay, we'll settle. That's probably, maybe that's what they're hoping for, is to get some kind of a judgment or some kind of a court order or something that says, okay, let's put it on the table, let's see what you make money-wise and all that, and then maybe get NASCAR to kind of back away. But it doesn't look like that's happening. I don't know if their case is as strong as they think it is.
Let's see, they're going to start with 32 charters. What exactly happens? The other ones are just in limbo?
I guess. And it's because there's also those Stewart-Haas ones that they were going to buy. Front Row was going to buy one, and 2311 was going to buy one. They've had agreements in place, but were never submitted yet. So nobody really knows what's going on with those 2 charters. That would be a third car for both Front Row and 2311. That's still out there. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen on those. In addition to the 2 each of those already have, and those are the ones that were taken out. Part of the original 36, 2 went for 2311 for the 23 car, the 45 car, and 2 was with Front Row for the 34 and 38 car. Those 4 are the ones that got taken out. They say we have 32 charters now.
Right.
6. Those are the 4 that are out there. The 2 Stewart-Haas ones that are out there are still part of that 32, but I'm not sure if there's no agreement submitted yet to go to those guys yet. Where do they go?
At the same time, Roush freaking Keselowski Racing is announcing that they're going to have a third team. Now, where did that charter come from? Or is it going to be an open? It can't be an open car.
No, I really think what they'll do there is they'll probably lease the 15 charter from Rick Ware Racing, because Rick Ware has done that before. Lease charters out to other teams. Pay us for our charter. That 15 car seems to be the one that's kind of out there that's available for that. So that's probably where it would come from. Rick would probably run the 15 car as an open car then.
The one of the 4 and first of all, they kept they call it now a factory, Haas factory team. They kept one of their 4 and they sold one already to Trackhouse, right?
Right, yeah. Trackhouse has one for the 88 car next year, which would be Shane Van Gisbergen. The Haas factory team will run the 41 car, which is Cole Custer, and that's their 1 Cup car. They'll also have 2 Xfinity cars as part of that deal, but they don't have charters there. And then the 2 that are out there were the ones that were supposed to go to the third car for 2311. Everybody thought that's where Riley Herbst was going, but now who knows, because it's kind of up in the air. And the Front Row third car, which Noah Gregson signed on over there, and maybe Zane Smith are the 2 that they're looking at going over there. And it looks like Front Row next year might renumber their cars. They might, had it not be 34, 36, or 38. Gregson was telling some people at some appearances that he thinks he's running the 4 car next year.
Oh, God. Well, it's available. NASCAR will reassign numbers. They belong to NASCAR and they don't belong to team owners. But NASCAR does the assigning, and they're pretty good with the people that have supported them. So, wow, there's a lot to it, isn't there?
You think that colleague car, the 31, is going away, and that's going to be number 10 next year, which is kind of more in line with their Xfinity teams.
That makes sense. Renumber everything. Gives you the idea that you're having a fresh start for sure. We're going to sneak away and do a break. We're glad you're tuned in here on LTN's great off season, and we will return right after these.
From racing engines to street engines, long blocks to turnkey packages, or complete custom engines, just ask and Wagner Automotive can fill your needs. All backed by many years of racing experience. These years of experience have provided reliability and performance components that customers need to win races. Wagner's has been building championship-winning engines for top teams from NASCAR to short tracks in your backyard. This expertise has carried over to street engines they supply to top custom car builders. The Wagner Company, in the heart of Wisconsin, is outfitted with the state-of-the-art machinery necessary to design, manufacture, build, and test custom engines and their accessory parts. Dyno services are independently available for anyone needed to test their engine. Wagner's Company can also provide you or your company with production CNC machining or welding services. All your questions and requests are handled personally by Casey Wagner. Just give us a call at 920-394-3557 or visit our website at wagnerautomotive.com.
Miller Sales and Service of Random Lake is where to go for a trailer, no matter what you're hauling. Tom and Jerry Miller have been selling trailers from B&B, Trophy, and Bravo for over 50 years. Quality and integrity is what put them on the map on the corner of 57 and K since 1939. Home of the number 89 dirt and asphalt cars of Brad Miller. That's Miller Sales and Service. It's where to go for a trailer, just 20 minutes north of Milwaukee. Call them 920-994-4358.
Hey, Matthew, give me a hand with this tree.
Dad, let's get a real tree this year.
Hey, leave that fake tree in the box under the basement steps this year. Get a real tree from PMF Landscape on River Road in West Bend. Any kind of real tree imaginable, up to 18 feet. A huge assortment of Christmas decorations, including wreaths in 3 sizes, cemetery wreaths, festive global hanging ornaments, bows, garland roping, and more. Stop in 7 days a week during the holiday season, have refreshments, and check everything out. How about a PMF gift certificate? The perfect gift. PMF Landscape Supply, 5470 South River Road in West Bend. Call them 262-338-8800.
Dad, our tree from PMF Landscape looks great.
Monday Night Football on Westwood One. Hall of Fame quarterback Kurt Warner and I are set to bring you the Battle of Texas when the Cowboys take on the Texans in prime time. Quarterback C.J. Stroud and Houston are 6-4, coming off back-to-back losses. Now they take on the Cowboy defense with star linebacker Micah Parsons. Join us here for Monday Night Football.
Coverage starts at 6:30 on Fox Sports 920 WOKY.
Welcome back to LTN on the Big 920. We have the NASCAR banquet coming up. It's going to be Friday night in Charlotte, Brian, but we're not real sure. There's not going to be any live television of it, is there?
No live television. The CW is going to carry it next week, Sunday afternoon at 2 p.m. Eastern, so like 1 o'clock here, right in the middle of NFL football. It makes total sense, doesn't it?
I liked it live because it was cool seeing pictures of guys, even if they messed up and the moments that way. You don't get it when it's a chopped up version put a week later. Part of the appeal of watching the banquet was seeing these guys kind of out of their element a little bit, trying to have them make a speech in front of everybody.
Yeah, tripping and
I'm trying to find out if SiriusXM is going to do it live because I believe they've done it in the past. I can't confirm that, so I guess you'll just have to tune in next Friday and see if they do it live.
Yeah, they will. Say we have Toby Noodleman joining us today, and Toby being one of the I hate to call you the top crew chief in the state, even though you're probably the most accomplished crew chief in the state, but when there's someone that shows that they're as good as you are, many times they get offers to go work in NASCAR somewhere, and I've always wanted to find out if you ever got an offer from a NASCAR team. You know, our old friend and my fellow Hall of Famer, by the way,
Howie?
Dan?
Howie Leto?
Howie Leto, thank you. Boy, age is a son of a gun sometimes. Howie Leto got offers to go down south, and he always passed them up because he never wanted to leave Watertown. I'm curious if you ever got an offer, and if so, why you didn't go.
I've never really got an offer. I just, I'm really happy where I'm at. And sometimes, I guess money isn't everything. So I enjoy being here and enjoy helping people around here, and I love short track racing, so that's kind of.
So if somebody came to you and offered you some kind of, let's say, cha-ching money, you likely would have said, "I'm happy what I'm doing here. I'm going to stay."
That's probably what I'd say. I just enjoy where we're at, The people kind of feel it like the guys that we've been together on the team and the owners of, if anything, I like to say I'm loyal, to people that help me. I like to return the favor, including all the companies that help us with our race cars, putting our race cars together.
Yeah, that's part of it too, right? I mean, you have a business there.
I feel loyalty. That's what's lacking in a lot of the racing these days. It's like, oh, this guy's out, or it's always somebody's fault. And
yeah.
I just love what I do. I guess the best way to put it.
Toby, I thought it was really cool in Ty's press conference when he talked about how important it is for the crew guys and to have good help and good people working for you, and how he had a spot scanning parts in the scanning station at Thorsport before he got the full-time ride, and he had to make sure that every part was measured exactly because it goes in the sim program. You can't test, so if you don't have that right, your sims are messed up and your truck's going to run bad on the track. It's kind of the same way in short track too. I mean, the people really make this go, and if you got to have loyal people that are really into it like you are, even if it's down to the lowest level of the team, that makes a big difference on how the cars perform on the racetrack. Hard work still makes these cars go fast, right?
That's right. I mean, most of the work is done in the shop, and we spend a lot of time on our cars. Like we're working on the Bigley car and the Derby car as we speak.
Oh, that's right. That's coming fast. Real fast.
Oh, yeah.
a week from this weekend, or 2 weeks from a week from Saturday. How's that? The 20th is when it is down there. But you did get some sort of offer from Kyle Busch for his short track program, didn't you?
Yeah, that did happen. And then he shut it down. I turned it down, but we ended up turning it. I turned it down.
You gotta tell the part, and maybe you won't. I will. He took the phone call from Kyle Busch while we were laying in bed. I didn't know it was Kyle Busch until I hear him on the toilet talking to this guy, and I could tell by Toby's side of the conversation. I'm thinking, oh my God, he's talking to Kyle Busch, and he's on the toilet. Toby is. So it's like this porcelain megaphone, and I'm thinking, I was so embarrassed thinking you're on the phone with Kyle freaking Busch, and you're pooping. He's got to know that you're doing your business. It was just hilarious.
That's how important you are, Kyle. And you said no to him. Did you have any kind of inkling that this was it would not have furthered your own career, or why did you turn it down?
Well, at the time I was working with Ty, and again, it gets back to our, the guys that in the shop that helped me, and the team owners, they invested a lot of time, and I couldn't just leave it. I didn't feel there's a lot of team or a we in racing, and I felt like I'm using the word I, but I didn't want to let none of them people down,
That's interesting. Well, it's rare in racing, let alone society, that there's someone that has that kind of loyalty to his beliefs, and it's pretty refreshing. I think it's pretty cool that you first of all that you stayed in Wisconsin, and your legacy here is going to be pretty much unmatched. I can't imagine anybody else approaching the record that you have, although it didn't really hurt that you've been with some really, really great drivers over the years, right?
Well, that's a big part of it, and all the people that are around us. I mean, in our shop, we have 4 cars with 4 different owners, and we've been able to
keep them all happy.
My wife says I'm really good at nudging to get what I want. So, and you have to do a lot of nudging to keep all them people happy.
And Toby, you're only as good as your competition, right? And the competition up here, I think, is better than anywhere else.
I believe that. I know that. I mean, we don't down south. They don't give nobody up here any credit, but you don't see many of them coming up here, and playing in our playland. They say it's because they have to run a different car up here than they do down south. Well, I change the carburetor, move a couple fuel cell plates, and I take my car from up here, or our cars from up here, and we go down south, and we do really good. Now, having Ty Majeski as your driver is a really, really big part of that, and we know that,
Yeah. And we're going to talk a little more about that because the ASA schedule came out this week. Dan wasn't surprised. I guess maybe I was. But we'll talk about that and whatever else that comes up when we come back.
As a growing manufacturing company, we needed security solutions. We chose Bonafide because of the services they offer, pricing, and trusted reputation. But it's their outstanding service and support that convinced us we made the right choice with Bonafide.
When businesses need security, they contact Bonafide Security Solutions. From locks and alarms to safes and surveillance, we do it all. We are Bonafide. We protect what you value. For your free security survey, call us today or visit bonafidesafe.com.
The checkered flag is waved over the racing season at the Fair Park in Plymouth. Congratulations to the champions, Brad Miller, Will Source, Travis Schmidt, and Ben Schmidt. Plymouth Dirt Track Racing thanks all the drivers and pit crews for their ongoing dedication. The loyal, dedicated track workers are the best at what they do every week. A big thank you also to the many businesses for their sponsorships, and of course the fans who make it all possible. The green flag will wave for another season next spring. We'll see you there.
Hey, Matthew, give me a hand with this tree.
Dad, let's get a real tree this year.
Hey, leave that fake tree in the box under the basement steps this year. Get a real tree from PMF Landscape on River Road in West Bend. Any kind of real tree imaginable, up to 18 feet. A huge assortment of Christmas decorations, including wreaths in 3 sizes, cemetery wreaths, festive global hanging ornaments, bows, garland roping, and more. Stop in 7 days a week during the holiday season, have refreshments, and check everything out. How about a PMF gift certificate? The perfect gift. PMF Landscape Supply, 5470 South River Road in West Bend. Call them 262-338-8800.
Dad, our tree from PMF Landscape looks great.
The Milwaukee Admirals are back on the road. On Saturday, they visit Cleveland for the first time since December of 2021. Kemmel backhands toward the goal. Rafferty picked it off, turned it over to Kemmel, and he shoots, and he scores! Pre-game coverage at 3:30, face-off at 4 on Fox Sports 920 and the iHeartRadio app.
Welcome back to LTN. A couple things happened this week. Tell me if this sounds familiar to you. M&M's leaves Joe Gibbs Racing, and Kyle Busch has to find himself a ride somewhere else. Dollar General leaves Joe Gibbs Racing, and Matt Kenseth has to go find himself something else. FedEx this week announced that they are out at Joe Gibbs Racing, and the question obviously becomes, what about Hamlin? To me, it has to do with, if we don't have that money coming in, you are going to have to take a pay cut. And that's how it started with all those guys. Do they really want? I mean, those young drivers. Dan, when we heard that Eric Jones was coming over to take Matt's place, the number that had been thrown around was $500,000 to drive the car, which, like Matt was, the rumor was well into the 8 digits. Excuse me, I'm not good at math. He was like, I don't know. The rumor at the time was like $11 million he was making a year, and for a guy with $500,000, is that what's going to happen? Is Denny Hamlin going to have to take a pay cut?
You wonder. I mean, what's going to happen there? I mean, that was what always kept him in that car when all those other guys were gone, and it's up to what Joe Gibbs Racing wants to do, I suppose. I mean, you look at how they're going. I mean, on their Xfinity side, they have a bunch of pay drivers now taking rides there. What do you got on the Cup side? The 19 is filled with Chase Briscoe, and they got a sponsor there. Now Truex is moving on. The 54 is always going to be the grandkids' car, and looks like he's got backing, so that's there. The 20 and Christopher Bell has done a pretty good job, and DeWalt seems to hang on there. So what happens with the 11 now? They've had other sponsors all through the year, like Great Clips and that Mavis Tire, I think was one of them on it. So they've had. This isn't something that came as a total surprise. FedEx has cut back a lot the last couple of years. It's just odd to see a sponsor that's been there that long. I mean, they've been with Denny almost 20 years now. He came in 2006.
That's a lot of money too that they've spent.
I'm curious if Joe Gibbs is on board with what Denny and 2311 are doing with the lawsuit.
Yeah, they secretly, they all seem to be, we've heard the whispers come from Childress. We really wanted to do that, but we just didn't have the utsnay to do it, and this guy's doing it. Maybe, just maybe that's where the other, if that charter comes from the Stewart Haas team, maybe going to 2311 is what's destiny for the owner of the team, don't you think?
That's exactly what I'm thinking.
I think those guys are on board with the lawsuit as long as they get to, enjoy. If they win, they get to have some of the benefits. Now, if they win and get a better deal than them that's signed, then they wouldn't be so for it.
Exactly. It's easy to be quietly two-faced, basically. Yeah, man, we're supporting you. But then if NASCAR is with you, I can't believe they're doing that.
Again, it's late in the game for this sort of thing to be happening. But if Denny Hamlin went over to drive for the team that he owns, and by the way, they are a fully loaded subsidiary of Joe Gibbs Racing, by the way, then who would go in the 11 car? And, is there a young driver that Toyota has that is ready for a cup ride, Brian?
Not ready, but I can see William Sawalich being on their radar in the pipeline. Assuming he does what we all think he's going to do once he moves into this Gibbs Xfinity ride next year. He's following the footsteps of Ty Gibbs, so we'll see.
Seems like he's not ready for that yet.
No,
I agree with you that the kid certainly has shown the talent. Maybe Toyota comes in and does a little stealing from Chevrolet because, after all, dollar signs are what make this world go around. There's another itch other than Sawalich that seems to be the top prospect in all of racing right now.
He's got to deal with Trackhouse, so you'd have to work out a deal to take him away from them. But I don't. Where's Trackhouse have any room for anybody really? Unless they're going to kick somebody.
We're talking about Connor Zilich, by the way.
Yeah, unless they're going to kick somebody to the curb in the near future. Maybe, I don't know. If Daniel Suarez doesn't produce, do they kick him to the curb? I don't know.
You got to have guys. That pipeline that used to be so rich for Toyota is not as deep as it used to be. And keep in mind, by the way, that Sawalich does have that hearing aid money behind him. Starkey Hearing Aid Company is Grandpa's company, and that's what has put him his career on track. The kid certainly has talent, but as far as
Zilich is with Wells Fargo or something, right? Isn't his family part of the
Wells? His dad used to work for Wells Fargo Bank. Yeah, he owns a storage company now.
Banker. Oh, jeez. The bankers. There you go. Now there's some money for you. That's where Zilich gets the cash from?
It's what it appears to be. His father worked for Wells Fargo for many years. Now he owns a large storage outfit or whatever. So I don't know if he's of age where he retired, or I'm not exactly sure his age, but that's where the talk is, where he was getting his finances.
There's banker.
There's plenty of money in storage units because Americans just love to be pack rats.
True.
Mark Anastasio was is an investment banker. So before we start thinking that maybe, where would he get that kind of money from? Well, those investment bankers, they got some pretty nice little bank accounts themselves. So it seems that Zilich kid is the next big name.
And he seems pretty good in what he's run so far. I mean, when I've seen him race now, he seems, doesn't look like a rookie. Let's put it that way. He makes some pretty decent decisions behind the wheel, and he's aggressive enough to get things done. So I can see.
He certainly doesn't mind using the bumper.
No, right.
And he's diverse. I mean, think about it. He this year he won the 24 Hours of Daytona and the 12 Hours of Sebring with a P2 car. So he's very diverse and can tackle the road courses just as well as the ovals.
Yeah, pretty amazing. He's a can't miss prospect, but where is he going to end up? That's the question. Chevy's got him right now. We'll be back.
From racing engines to street engines, long blocks to turnkey packages, or complete custom engines, just ask and Wagner Automotive can fill your needs. All backed by many years of racing experience. These years of experience have provided reliability and performance that customers need to win races. Wagner's has been building championship winning engines for top teams from NASCAR to short tracks in your backyard. This expertise has carried over to street engines they supply to top custom car builders. The Wagner Company, in the heart of Wisconsin, is outfitted with the state-of-the-art machinery necessary to design, manufacture, build, and test custom engines and their accessory parts. Dyno services are independently available for anyone needed to test their engine. Wagner's Company can also provide you or your company with production CNC machining or welding services. All your questions and requests are handled personally by Casey Wagner. Just give us a call at 920-394-3557 or visit our website at wagnerautomotive.com.
Miller Sales and Service of Random Lake is where to go for a trailer no matter what you're hauling. Tom and Jerry Miller have been selling trailers from B&B, Trophy, and Bravo for over 50 years. Quality and integrity is what put them on the map on the corner of 57 and K since 1939. Home of the number 89 dirt and asphalt cars of Brad Miller. That's Miller Sales and Service. It's where to go for a trailer just 20 minutes north of Milwaukee. Call them 920-994-4358.
Hey, Matthew, give me a hand with this tree.
Dad, let's get a real tree this year.
Hey, leave that fake tree in the box under the basement steps this year. Get a real tree from PMF Landscape on River Road in West Bend. Any kind of real tree imaginable, up to 18 feet. A huge assortment of Christmas decorations, including wreaths in 3 sizes, cemetery wreaths, festive global hanging ornaments, bows, garland roping, and more. Stop in 7 days a week during the holiday season, have refreshments, and check everything out. How about a PMF gift certificate? The perfect gift. PMF Landscape Supply, 5470 South River Road in West Bend. Call them 262-338-8800.
Dad, our tree from PMF Landscape looks great.
It's on again. Packers, Bears.
You suck.
Doug Russell kicks off coverage live from the Potawatomi Sportsbook at 8 a.m. Kickoff at noon on Milwaukee's home for the Packers, 97.3 The Game.
And now the LTN Hour presents Dirt on the Dirt with Brian Schmidt.
Still a handful of special events going on across the dirt landscape here. We'll start Thursday night in Las Vegas, Nevada. The dirt track at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, the Duel in the Desert for the IMCA Modifieds. What's that?
It's a half mile. Big track.
It's a big track, yes. I've been there once. 100 exactly. IMCA Modifieds showed up Thursday night. They ran twin features to qualify them and set the field for Saturday night's event. Dylan Thornton and Colin Hibden were your winners. Dylan Thornton is not related to Ricky Thornton Jr., which you may or may not hear him later in this report. The IMCA Stock Car feature winner Thursday night was Cole Sarneski from nearby Luxembourg. So a local, I think he was the only Wisconsin guy that made the trip and did well. Also Thursday night, Tulsa, Oklahoma, the ASCS 360 sprint cars were there. Seth Bergman was your winner. Friday night, round 2 at the dirt track at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. 2 more features. Dylan Thornton won again, and Ethan Broxma were your modified winners. In the IMCA stock cars, Zane DeVilbus was your winner. Out in Vado, New Mexico, the Power Eye winged 360 sprint cars were there. Aaron Reitzel grabbed the win. Sapulpa, Oklahoma, the Creek County Speedway for the ASCS 360 sprints. Blake Hahn was your winner. And in Sonoya, Georgia, the Flow Racing Night in America Peach State Classic, their grand finale of their super late model series, had night number 1, $20,000 to win, and Ricky Thornton Jr. grabbed the win on that one. Last night, the grand finale at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, the Duel in the Desert, $7,777 to win the IMCA modified feature, and Drew Jansen, it's a guy never really heard of him. He grabbed the big money in the win there. In the IMCA stock cars, Zane DeVilbus was the winner. Cole Sarneski finished second. He also brought his modified, and he finished 10th in the modified race, so good showing for him. Night number 2 in Sapulpa, Oklahoma at the Creek County Speedway for the ASCS 360 Sprint Cars, Sam Haperteef Jr. was your winner. York Haven, Pennsylvania, Baps Motorsports Park, $10,000 to win for the winged 410 Sprint Cars. Brock Zierfoss was your winner. The 358 Modifieds were the undercard. Billy Pouch Jr. grabbed that win. Springfield, Missouri, Turkey Bowl 18 for the super late model, $6,064 to win. Dylan McCowan was your winner. In the modifieds, Terry Phillips grabbed the win. Kenny Wallace finished 5th. And finally, the big money race of the weekend in Senoia, Georgia, Flow Racing Night in America, the Peach State Classic, $30,000 to win. Ricky Thornton Jr. grabbed the win. Bobby Pierce was leading the points going into that feature. Did not have a good night, finished 11th. So Ricky Thornton Jr. also grabbed the $75,000 championship.
Nice money, but my God, what a boring race. Thornton led every single lap of a 75 lapper.
Yeah, he's pretty dominant. He's pretty dominant.
$125,000 in one weekend there?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, that was a good weekend for him. Very good weekend for him. So that is everything for this week.
And I have nothing for the asphalt. I guess we're on break until the Bigley Memorial, really.
And that's coming up quickly, as we mentioned, the 30th. It's at the Freedom Factory, the old DeSoto Speedway down in Florida. There are 7 Wisconsin drivers and a couple other guys who race pretty extensively in the state of Wisconsin. Johnny DeAngelis, Luke Fenhouse, Casey Johnson, Ty Majeski, Andrew Morrissey, Johnny Sauter, and Jeff Storm from good old Cheeseland. We've got Ty Fredrickson from Minnesota and Max Kaler from Illinois also making the trip. We will be well represented down there. The guys that go have wonderful things to say about it. Toby, it has something to do with the tires, right? I guess, right?
Yeah, we run an American racer down there. I was with Kraus at Cordele, Georgia, and we ran them there, and it seems like a really good tire. I mean, it's not as fast as a Hoosier, but they seem really good. So,
are we testing them here?
They were tested up here, yes. But again, when they do tire tests, it's not about the speed; it's about how the tire repeats. To me, you put them on, you run a 40-lap run, and then you come back a week later and you put 40 laps on and see how the tire comes back. We're starting at the Bigley. We had a set from last year. They got like 10 laps on. That's what we're starting on. We did that last year, and it came back just like they were just as fast. I mean, we weren't at the top of the speed chart, but we were really close, and we put new ones on, and it didn't really go any faster. So
this week it was announced that Slinger Speedway is going to have an ASA race. It used to be that the Super Lates raced at Slinger the same day as the ASA raced at the Milwaukee Mile. And now the Milwaukee Mile race is gone, and ASA will be making its first trip to Slinger since Mark Martin won a 300-lapper back in the mid-'80s. Again, my question is, and maybe Toby, you can answer this. The reason they didn't come before is because we had some sort of pissin match having to do with carburetors. And did we fix that? What happened?
Yeah, I don't know how that's all going to work out. I've heard rumors. I know they are going to allow 4 barrels. And you can run 2 barrels. I don't know what they're going to do with weights. That's where the question all.
And what about tires?
It'll probably be on the same tires as what Slinger is, what they do weekly, which I assume is ST1s and ST2s. Okay. Although I heard they're gonna be on a different tire next year. It's gonna be labeled different, but it's basically that tire.
Wow.
And I think a lot of that 2-barrel, 4-barrel thing, they're gonna try. I think they're going to try harder to make it work right now. ASA Stars has that Marty Mello, who's kind of running the thing now, or in a position there. He was at the Pepperjack Kennels for a while, and he's with Rico Abreu for a while. He's a big fan of racing up here and about getting everything together. I think that's probably a big part of the reason why Slinger's back on the schedule. So I think it's all positive that way, that they're not as far apart as they were before, going in different directions, that they're probably going more in the same direction now.
Man, it's a good thing, I guess. We needed to get our heads together, and ASA obviously came and said, okay, you win, we can run 2 barrels, right?
And they're going to have to if they can get local cars here. And it'll be a weekend where it'll be Friday night in Madison, Sunday night at Slinger. So it'll be a Wisconsin weekend, kind of like it was before in the past, just that Slinger replaces the Milwaukee Mile.
Yeah, well.
I think that might be an afternoon race at Slinger, from what I understand.
Oh, interesting.
Well, and I heard it was going to be Slinger Point, one of their Elite Eight or whatever they call it races too.
Well, I did ask Todd Thielen in a text message about that this week, and he said nothing has been decided on that yet. So that's all I really. What I know is that I don't know. That's pretty bad.
Two other tracks on that ASA: Dominion Raceway in Virginia, and a Newport Speedway in Tennessee. Different tracks on their schedule as well.
Interesting. We'll be back.
The checkered flag is waved over the racing season at the Fair Park in Plymouth. Congratulations to the champions, Brad Miller, Will Source, Travis Schmidt, and Ben Schmidt. Plymouth Dirt Track Racing thanks all the drivers and pit crews for their ongoing dedication. The loyal, dedicated track workers are the best at what they do every week. A big thank you also to the many businesses for their sponsorships, and of course the fans who make it all possible. The green flag will wave for another season next spring. We'll see you there.
Hey, Matthew, give me a hand with this tree.
Dad, let's get a real tree this year.
Hey, leave that fake tree in the box under the basement steps this year. Get a real tree from PMF Landscape on River Road in West Bend. Any kind of real tree imaginable, up to 18 feet. A huge assortment of Christmas decorations, including wreaths in 3 sizes, cemetery wreaths, festive global hanging ornaments, bows, garland roping, and more. Stop in 7 days a week during the holiday season, have refreshments, and check everything out. How about a PMF gift certificate? The perfect gift. PMF Landscape Supply, 5470 South River Road in West Bend. Call them 262-338-8800.
Dad, our tree from PMF Landscape looks great.
As a growing manufacturing company, we needed security solutions. We chose Bonafide because of the services they offer, pricing, and trusted reputation. But it's their outstanding service and support that convinced us we made the right choice with Bonafide.
When businesses need security, they contact Bonafide Security Solutions. From locks and alarms to safes and surveillance, we do it all. We are Bonafide. We protect what you value. For your free security survey, call us today or visit bonafidesafe.com.
It's on again. Packers, Bears.
You suck.
Doug Russell kicks off coverage live from the Potawatomi Sportsbook at 8 a.m. Kickoff at noon on Milwaukee's home for the Packers, 97.3 The Game.
Well, you certainly can't get a $35 million national debt without spending some silly-ass money, and unfortunately, that's what it looks like they did. The Pandemic Recovery Grant taxpayer money going to Bowman Gray Stadium so they can put safer barriers, a new catch fence, and new lighting into that place so they can put the Busch Clash there in February. That's just great.
I just wonder how adding safer barriers, that place is narrow as can be already, and now you're going to add safer barriers? I mean, the wall is literally the wall that the people sit on. Like, if you're sitting in the first row for a regular Saturday night program there, you're like looking down at the roofs of the cars in some of those spots. I'm just wondering how that's going to work. You really can't make the track any wider because it's a football stadium that the Winston-Salem University uses from August through about now. So that's why they can't start on that project till right around now when their football season ends. So
I think they're looking for, instead of calling it the Clash, they should call it the Slobber Knocker, because that's what they're looking for. I think they're looking for just move around, run into people, fender bang, just start out the year that way and make a big,
See rule number 1. This is an entertainment business.
Yes.
They don't have cars. The teams don't have throwaway cars anymore, but I can't believe they're going to bring their best stuff here.
Nope.
No.
I wouldn't either.
It's what put Bowman Gray on the map, is this slobber knocker racing.
The Madhouse thing a couple years ago. Was that about 6-8 years ago, that TV show?
Apparently that place holds like 10,000 people, and they fill it every Saturday night for their local racing show.
15, and they do fill it. I went there all the years I went to Charlotte. I'd leave the Xfinity race on Saturday and head to Bowman Gray just to experience it. It's quite an experience, and people get into it, and they pack that place out. It's a big thing to do on a Saturday night there in Winston-Salem.
The stadium is literally on the college campus, right, Dan? Winston-Salem University?
Right, and you park right across the street. There's not a lot of room there. That's why, we were talking about parking cars that we were told they're going to be parked off-site quite a ways away. Same with Tech.
Well, that'll be just like racing in Los Angeles, right? They had to park down the street and then drive up to get in the stadium. That's beautiful. They'll do the same thing there. Can you see all those big haulers?
Why when you got them little bitty racetrack, why do you need safer barriers?
That's a good question. Yeah,
you don't get going that fast. I mean, I can see it if you're going Daytona or Kansas or some of these big places. But why, when you're on this little bitty racetrack, why do you need safer barriers?
Probably NASCAR wants to be the example. They can't tell all their tracks. Every track that runs a race, a cup race, has to have safer barriers.
Could it be an insurance clause somewhere, maybe, for the series? And they have to be in place, the places they run?
Well, why does everybody else race there without safer barriers?
No, that's true. And that was my thought,
You're
too.
telling me them big wheel modifieds, them cup cars are going to go faster than them open wheel modifieds that race there weekly?
Yeah.
Or their late models. They have late models that run there, and they're a lot lighter than a cup car. I'm sure they go faster.
Right. Well, then they don't have no so does that mean them late models are safer than them cup cars? You know what I'm saying?
Yep, you're saying exactly what I'm thinking, Toby.
It's a shame, but well, whatever. We're going to find out, right? This is the first time we're going there. We're all going to find out at the same time. That'll be big fun. A couple things have happened recently. Some people moving around. Chad Johnston. I'm trying to remember where I heard his name. He was the crew chief on the 41 car this year. He's the latest hire by Jimmy Johnson. He's going to go over to Legacy as the manager of race engineering. Dan, it seems to me I remember his name from another team.
Did he come from Ganassi? Was he the crew chief on the 42 car?
When Matt Kenseth raced over there?
I think maybe. I have to look at that. I'm not 100% sure, but I thought that's where he was before he was with Stuart Haas.
All right. Well, there's that. They did have a tire test at Rockingham. Of course, racing is imminent this year. Allgaier, Sheldon Creed, and Brandon Jones all went to Rockingham and did a tire test this week. Did I miss it? Did they repave the place completely, or did they start on it? And maybe
it's repaved. That was part of the COVID money too that made everybody so happy.
That's so. Hey, taxpayer money might as well be for something, for entertainment, rather than just to fix highways. What do we need that for? One of the original guys at Door Bumper Clear on Dirty Mo Media, Brett Griffin. He's out. Didn't say if he got fired. Didn't say if he quit. He just said that was my last show this week. So maybe for all we know, he agreed to stick around through the end of the year, or when the year was over.
It sounded like maybe it wasn't of his own doing, because when somebody had put in there and said that we enjoyed everything you did for that show and listening to you and stuff, and then his response on X was, other people don't feel the same as you and me.
Sometimes these moves are made and you don't know.
Well, and he was very opinionated, and he might have stepped on some NASCAR toes.
Ruffled feathers?
Yes, which is one of the reasons why he's so beloved by many.
Yeah. Well, Claire B. Lang was really good, I thought, and she just disappeared one day, and Lee Spencer took her place. And, we were fortunate enough. All four of us were sitting at a table in the lunchroom at Phoenix last week, and Lee Spencer walked up to say hello. And my question was, hey, what exactly happened with Claire B. Lang? And she said, you're going to have to ask Claire about that. And that was the end of that. So it's either a contract year, and they thought they could do better or something like that, and they went a different direction. That's how it works. Oh, by the way, Kyle Busch is going to race in the Chili Bowl this week. He put a bunch of videos out of his first time in a midget. It's pretty interesting stuff if you've missed it yet. Hey, thanks so much for tuning in. Gosh, that went quickly. This whole offseason is going to go quickly. The Clash at the Bowman Gray is 11 weeks from today. How great is that? And for all of you regulars here, you like to hear this. Real race cars have doors, even if they do climb in through the windows. Let's Talk NASCAR is produced and directed by Dangerous Dan Margetta. Our engineer is Matt Losey, and for all of us involved with the program, we appreciate you tuning us in every week. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you next week, everybody.
This program has come to you live from multiple locations via Skype. Any and all comments expressed on this show do not necessarily express the opinions of this station, its employees, or advertisers. Your comments are always welcome at mail@ltnradionetwork.com. Find us at facebook.com/LTN Radio Network. And thank you for your support since 1985. Tune in again next Sunday morning at 10 a.m. Central Time for the LTN Hour on the LTN Radio Network.